Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 9 of Road Trip Wrestling. I am perfect, Paul Rogers. Today, anyways, last time I was precious. Today, I'm perfect. Like always, I'm in the driver's seat and in the passenger seat today. We have a good old friend with Mr. Jacobs. How you feeling, Mr. Jacobs?
I'm feeling all right. Just trying to stay cool in this heat, but I'm doing all right.
Just
Yeah, just trying to hang in there. Like, glad to be back.
It's like just like the background that we have chosen today. It's hot right now. So thank goodness I asked you this at the beginning of the show and not at the end of the show. But Mr. Jacobs, can you give me and the people watching at home who are your, for whatever reason you want, your top 5 current professional wrestlers?
Oh yeah. Let's see. We got my list right here. Well, I got no, well, it's not really
Beautiful.
from like best to least, or it's not really in particular
Yeah.
order. It's just people I'm feeling right now. The Obafemi. Let's see. Will Ospreay, Gunther, Athena, and MJF.
So your choices are a little bit more American wrestling, AEW,
Of
WWE.
course.
So going into this Noah show, it might be interesting seeing your opinions. But yeah, no, that's it's going to be interesting. I'm hoping every kind of kind of guest host I get on here, I can get their kind of top 5 before we get into the show and start to see where like the wrestling world kind of clicks together. So today we are all the way back in Tokyo, Japan. Where the heck have I brought you, Mr. Alan Jacobs? I've brought you to Pro Wrestling Noah. The show we're going to talk about today is, I like the simplicity of this, Neo Global Tag League 2026, June 16th. So it's the new World Tag League, the day of the week.
Yeah.
Is that weird that that's the name, is just the like sort of the date?
I mean, it is weird, but as far as Japanese wrestling, I mean, it makes sense.
It's odd coming from American wrestling and someone's like, "Oh, what's the name of the show?" And you're like, "Well, it's a bit more complicated than that." But the show that we're talking about today was live June 16th, 2026. So it was pretty recent. So of the time of recording, about a week and a half ago. I picked this out of revenge to Mr. Jacobs because he made me watch AEW. So I thought, oh, let's slow it down, brother. Do you know anything about pro wrestling, Noah, coming into this?
Not really, honestly. I mean, I've seen a few matches in the past. I think I've mentioned this before. I've seen like a few matches in the past, but I really don't kind of keep up with it. It's not because I don't like it. It's just it's not like that because it's very awesome pro wrestling. Um, but it's just like it's I guess I don't know, not my wheelhouse. I guess you can say, but
I like the expression. It's out of my radar.
yeah, you can say that. It's
You
out of my
know, like people
radar.
look this direction and it's sort of over here sometimes. And to be fair, it's the
Yeah.
same for me. Going into this, I'm what I would call like sort of familiar with Noah. I've seen a couple events. I'm aware of the history, some of it. For those who don't know, Pro Wrestling Noah currently is owned by Cyber Agent. So that's the same company that owns DDT Pro Wrestling, Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling, Dreamstar Fighting Marigold, and is currently, I don't want to date the episode, but they bought a major stake in New Japan Pro Wrestling. So this company is part of a TKO-ish style
Like
mega
conglomerate.
corporation. Yeah, so it's interesting sort of looking over here and going, "Whoa, okay, that's a little bit bigger than I remember." But I thought I had the date of when it was made. Oh, here we go. Pro Wrestling Noah was founded in June 2000, which when I read that I thought, "Oh, I felt like this was a 80s, 90s thing," but I think I
That's
might
what
be
I
confusing
felt.
that
Yeah.
with other companies. But it was June 2000 by Mitsuhara Masawa. while he resigned from All Japan, which is sort of a familiar story in Japanese wrestling. I won't dive into this because this could be a 4-hour documentary. I would totally recommend. Misawa is an interesting case, but New Japan started because Giant Baba and Inoki disagreed about wrestling, and they left that company to start two different companies. So Misawa taking his ball and going home is very... It's not, you don't see it all the time, but it's sort of in line with some of the history of it. Are you familiar with Misawa? Do you know this name at all?
Yeah, I know the name. I very much know the name as a wrestling fan. Like I said, I'm not too educated in the lore as far as.
Well, just let me know what you're familiar with, so we can just get a point of view.
I do know about the whole creation of New Japan and all that stuff, and pretty much. I mean, I've seen like a lot of old matches, but clips of them, not full matches, because it's hard. As an American, it's hard to get a hold of like old Japanese matches. Like you can see some on YouTube, but it's like not really well archived. But yeah,
some, like, New Japan's very protective of what matches they put out because they have a streaming service. So some people don't know that they have a streaming service. So when they say take down the match, they don't say take down the match, send them to the streaming service. So I understand that they can get confused. So to just clarify how we can all watch this, how we watched this together was on wrestle-universe.com. And that's a streaming service that Pro Wrestling Noah has, that has all the companies that I said before, except for New Japan and a bunch else. It's like 12 companies for about $15 a month. So if you're one of those like, hey, I like to just try stuff out, this is definitely a streaming service that you can pick for 1 month, watch one of every company, and then go, kind of go from there, because each company's got its own flavor. But speaking of flavor, Noah seems to be a flavor that everybody wants, because when I looked up, hey, do they have any working relationships? That's a big thing now in wrestling. Hey, AEW, New Japan, whatever. The list was massive. They have a working relationship with All Japan, Big Japan, Dragon Gate, New Japan, Ring of Honor, Lucha, AAA, Impact, the International Wrestling Revolution Group, terrible name, and MLW, which we've seen before. So it's interesting that with the American landscape of wrestling, let's say, having a company that's sort of like all doors are open is kind of weird, is it?
I mean, as an American fan, it is weird as an American fan to see that, and like it's kind of like one of those unexpected kind of things as a fan you wouldn't expect, like the quote unquote forbidden door, like that kind of thing is. But at the same time, I do love it as a fan. I love that because especially as an American fan, you get to see top talent from around the world. I mean, how awesome is that?
And speaking of a forbidden door, not the event, but the idea, Noah's had I was going to say a lot of WWE talent, but when we actually start counting it, it's probably been about 4 or 5. AJ went there to fight Fuji, I believe. Nakamura had a fight there not too long ago. Omos was there for a while, I believe. Who's the bigger fella that they just picked up in NXT? Who's got the short little buzz cut? You know who it's Rook, something Rook.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah,
they were from Noah. So it's kind of interesting that, hey, is even WWE treating this company as a destination for an excursion? Hey, we want to work on this person. They need a little bit of growth. We know if we send them to Noah, they're not going to get hurt. They're not going to be told to do anything crazy. They're going to be working with all vets, because we'll get into the roster in a little bit. And oh boy, you got a lot of vets. So is this a company that's sort of deemed just sort of safe by everyone else? And they're like, yeah, let's send their guys whenever they want. Or is the owner just the nicest person in the world?
I think it's a little bit of both. You give your talent a chance to broaden their horizons and get a fat paycheck at the same time. Why not?
Yeah, and we'll get not to spoil anything, but we do still see a American talent pop in and out
Yeah.
because there's a major tag team later in the show that we've seen earlier in Road Trip Wrestling. That's a what's the word, a journeyman tag team of wrestling at the moment. But
Yeah, you can say that. Yeah.
so that was all the knowledge I sort of had coming into it. And I didn't really want to read a Wikipedia page at the beginning of this because there's more interesting uh, documentaries and whatever you want to call them, video essays to watch on Pro Wrestling Noah and the history. But there was a paragraph at the bottom that said in 2012 it was revealed that Noah's management had ties to Yakuza crime syndicate, which
Oh.
resulted in the promotion of some executives and enforcing new anti-Yakuza protocols. So, how's the phrase anti-Yakuza protocols in pro wrestling? Is that weird?
That is that is insane, dude. And things I've heard stories about the Yakuza being involved in Japanese wrestling for decades.
Allegedly
Allegedly,
for
allegedly.
there is a lot of stories from legends too. Like there's stories of you ever heard the phrase sponsor?
Mm. Yeah.
If you're famous, for those who don't know, if you're a famous wrestler and you're going over to Japan, there's going to be a lot of famous rich people that want to meet you. So what they do is they call themselves a sponsor and they say, you come over, I'll take care of your hotel, I'll take care of your dinner, we'll go out on the town, we'll have fun. But the idea is you're kind of sort of an escort. Like not in that way, but you have an obligation to hang out with them because they're putting up all this money. But a lot of people go, hey, you're paying for my hotel and it's not a cheap one that I was going to pay for, it's a nice one, and you're going to pay for my drinks? Where's the downside? And that's when they move their shirt and you see the tattoos and you go, I get it. Never mind. I'm going home.
The bait and switch.
Yeah, at the end of all this story, they released Kenta Kobashi, leading to 6 wrestlers leaving the promotion, which makes me just go,
Wow.
I wonder why. I'm not saying, friend, they're nothing, but there's a lot of reasons why after something like that you might go, maybe we get rid of this person. But with that out of all the way, you want to kind of head into the arena and find our seats?
Yeah, let's do this.
Now that we've sort of taken our seats, we can take a good look at the arena before we get into the show. But are you familiar with Cochrane Hall?
No, not really.
So this is like a home base of professional wrestling in Japan. The more you kind of watch companies, the more you'll get familiar with it. So for those who don't, we do not have a traditional ramp. We don't have a traditional entranceway. There's no sort of divert your attention to something. There's just sort of a gap in the chairs and in the kind of outsides. But we do have faces from one side, heels from the other. So that's a little bit of a small charm. The commentary for tonight, which said on the website, Akitoshi Saito, Hikari Inoue, and Junji Sinijo. I'm terrible at these names, but I'm getting slightly better. But those were not the announcers that we had. We had Matt Pickering and Stu Fulton. Have you ever heard these names?
No, I have never heard any of them.
I feel bad I said it like that, but as we get into it, it's like these guys were not bad, and they had a tone, and I was like, I feel like we should, maybe this is a case of like Chris Charlton, where it's like a super obscure commentary that's good for 1-2 specific reasons that's sort of unknown. You're like, oh man, I can't wait for these guys to kind of pop off. But we have 1,009 people in attendance for this show.
That's not bad for the size of that place.
I was gonna say, do you like this arena for this look?
I thought it was. I mean, personally, I thought it was cool, and it looked kind of like it looked like a lot like a gymnasium, but it was a lot bigger. But it was packed. It had the crowd was in there, and they were into it. And the thing is, I've been to indie shows that looked a lot like that. Where the indie show itself was packed and it sold out, and it was a blast. So yeah, I love that kind of environment. And I feel like it's more intimate as well when it comes down to the action and especially whenever they're able to draw in the crowd because as you can see, like, well, you might be able to tell later on during this review. um
Hmm.
the crowd was so respectful during the match, but then whenever they had the spots that were going, that was kind of pushing the volume up, the crowd was getting up, and they were getting hyped, they were getting into it, and they were being very vocal. And I mean, the crowd was awesome, and the whole place itself, I thought, like I said, it had kind of an intimate feel to it. It reminded me a lot of a packed indie show, and I loved it.
I don't know if there's like a good. I wish I had a good metaphor, but it's like, you ever been to a concert hall and you're like, oh, this is kind of small, it's not too big, and then you get in there and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, oh, this is huge, and then everyone piles in, and it's just a small local band, and you start going like, oh, this might be like the best show ever. You got the right seats, they have the right
Hmm.
vibe, everyone's on board. And it's fun talking about Japanese crowds with people that are not the most familiar with them, because everyone's like, oh, they sit on their hands. This crowd did not sit on their hands,
No.
but this crowd was also like, they weren't a British crowd, they
Hmm.
weren't a AEW rabid ECW crowd. They were like, okay, your turn. Like, you did something
Yeah.
cool. Okay. But they weren't tables. We want
Right.
fire. She's a crack whore. Like, they were okay.
Yeah.
And it reminded me, we'll get into it as we go. It's a sports feel, but it's
Hmm.
like a sports feel of a less intense sport. So if you're a baseball fan, if you're sort of a racing fan, I know racing's fast, but I feel like when you watch a race, there's a bit more of like, we're watching from above. It's a bit calmer.
Hmm.
It's professional. Tennis, I feel like cricket, everyone's very polite. It's not like
Yeah.
American football where it's like, let's go. They're all like,
Oh.
oh, someone does something sportsmanship, and they go, oh,
They're very
I,
respectful. I like that.
yeah, but they don't sit on their hands, and they give credit where it's due, and it's a
Hmm.
fun little ride. But getting into the show, this was sort of an oddball, because the first 13 minutes is essentially an empty arena with the announcers walking down the card with crickets. Like, the first 5 minutes, there's no one in the back. I don't know if it's just Japanese culture, but there's 5 minutes to show. They've started filming, and there's
Hmm.
no one in the seats. And as they're like, okay, this is match one, this is match two, you just see them. Everyone starts coming in. So by the
Yeah.
time they hit the first bell, I'd say about 70-80% of the people are in the seats, and they've kind of filled in, except for, like,
Hmm.
the older people or the people in the bathroom. But this sounds so foreign, but I know that you watch a lot of American wrestling, and we're trying to get the kind of contrast of all the feels. But
Hmm.
what do you think would happen if an American wrestling show started off with 13 minutes of essentially silence?
I mean, I don't know. As a fan, I don't think the best thing to do is to open your show with silence. I mean,
It's not literal silence. I'm saying essentially silence, because when we compare it to AEW,
the
WCW,
crowd.
WWE, boom, 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 fireworks, like, they open with hello and welcome to pro
Well,
wrestling. Like, there's
yeah.
no crowd, there's no fireworks, there's no music, there's no pomp and circumstance. There's
The thing is that in an American wrestling show, if you hear silence, that's trouble.
Yeah,
That
dead
is
air
trouble.
is the worst possible thing in American shows, anything, movies,
Yeah.
televisions, whatever. But how did you feel like kind of getting this vibe? Is this something that's enjoyable, just different, or is this something where you're like, oh, this might be a bit odd. I don't know if I can.
I think depending on the action, depending on how if the action's good, I won't even care. You know what I mean? If they start off with it and they're just beating the hell out of each other and they start off with the bang, I'm not even gonna care. I'm gonna be involved in what's going on. You know?
That's fair. Well, hopefully they start off with a bang because we got our opening match. We got a lot of multi-man matches, so I'm going to try to blast through some of these names and get through the information quick. But 6-man tag team, Black Menzure, there's a dash in there, Hiroto Tsutsura, Katsumi Inohara versus Midori Takahashi, Super Crazy, Yuko Konaki. Okay, so the good thing is we can filter some of these names out. So Tetsura and Inohara, these guys are 2 and 6 years experience respectively. So they are in the dojo. So they're going to be a young lion that you've probably most likely have never heard of. There's a chance you've never heard of Black Mensuros, but have you?
No.
Okay, so I did not either, and I thought weird tag team trios. Usually they put a vet in. I don't know this person. This person has 19 years experience.
Wow.
What?
19.
19 years experience, and this person is wearing the black baggy pants and what I'm calling a curry man mask because it's a nice, colorful mask. It's like lots of shapes, and then it's got what I thought was that cup of curry. Remember Curry Man? I
Yeah.
don't know if it was a hat or a little dish of food on the top, but
I think it was I think it's supposed to be both. Like it was a hat bowl.
visual, like yeah, I think I know what you mean. Out next, Takahashi and Yuto Konagagi, 19, 26 years old, respectively, both less than one experience, so they're both young lions in the Noah dojo. This final person, I don't know. I feel like you'll probably have never heard this name before in your life. Does Super Crazy ring a bell at all, or is that's a silly question to ask, Mr. Dick?
Oh yeah, I know Super Crazy. I've known that name for the longest.
where what would be your first sort of foray? That's the wrong word. I'm gonna cut that. What's your first experience with Super Crazy?
Oh my god, let's see. Gotta think back.
There is a bit of that. While you're thinking, I'll let you know. I double checked. This man
Yeah.
is 52 years old and
Mm-hmm.
has 38 years of experience.
Yes.
I think I was first familiar with him, like most people, he had an ECW stint. It would have been the early ECW where they started putting out the like DVDs. Well, I
Yeah.
remember the WWE DVDs of like all the
Right.
ECW shows, but that was where I was familiar with him.
I think I first got my first glimpse of him. Was because believe it or not, I learned about WCW before ECW. So my first time ever really seeing him was when he was in WCW, and it was him and a whole bunch of other luchadors.
Maybe your memory's better than mine because I just don't remember him in WCW. I'm gonna research this and say you're
Super
probably
crazy.
right, but
I'm pretty sure he was in WCW.
Oh, I'll believe you when you say it because my memory of I don't watch a lot of that period much now, so I'll totally trust you when you say it. But yeah, he's 52 years old and you're working shows. Well, okay,
That's amazing.
That's well, we'll get into the match
Yeah,
for a little bit.
run. I think wasn't he in the Mexicools? Wasn't one of the Mexicools?
Yes. The like questionably offensive stereotypes the WWE has had. Like Mexicools sounds fine. But you have them come out on lawnmowers, not fine.
Yeah,
But
that was a
I
bit
don't know if it
much.
was I don't know if it was a crime time situation where I'm not going to get into the whole thing. I'm just going to use it as an example where a lot of people say, "Hey, crime time is a bit of the big R word. It's a bit of the racist." But then when you ask crime time, "Hey, where'd the gimmick come from?" They're like, "Oh, these are just stereotypes in the community that we thought were funny." And you're like, "Well, okay." Yeah, like you know what I mean.
Yeah,
It's like I gave kind of a little bit of both sides. So you're like, all right, I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm gonna trust smarter men than me, smarter people than me to figure that out.
I do remember watching him in Psychosis. They had one of the coolest matches I've ever seen in my life. I think it was in ECW.
I would assume so, but Psychosis was also working a lot in WCW. So if you remember Super Crazy there too, there might be a fair chance that
It
they
could have been
worked.
both the
But
ECW or WCW, but I know they work so good together.
so was it odd seeing 4 people in this match just wearing multicolored trunks and knee pads? Like, are you
To the
familiar with
eye,
young lions in general?
I've seen some, but I'm not gonna. I can't call myself a follower of it. But I've seen some.
It's like general awareness in a sense.
Yeah,
So,
I'm aware of it.
um, for those who don't know, in Japan, usually traditional young lions they wear black trunks, black knee pads, black boots,
Mhm.
and you sort of have to earn your stripe. There's a famous quote that I always forget, and I'm probably not going to remember it in time to come out of my mouth, but it was in one of the Avengers movies, Spider-Man. Spider-Man's talking to the Iron Man suit, and he said something about you having the suit, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And Iron Man's retort was, well, it's like if you have to have the suit or if you need the suit, then you're not worthy of it or something like that. There was
Hmm.
I horribly butchered. I'm gonna try to put it in down here, but the idea was, Spider-Man is not Spider-Man because he puts on a Spider-Man costume. Spider-Man is Spider-Man is because who he is on the inside.
Right.
So they sort of apply this metaphor to trainees where they say, look, a lot of people come in and they're given a gimmick and they can't work. So they don't know how to apply the work to the gimmick and it falls apart. If I don't know how to wrestle, how do I know how a hockey player wrestles? Right? So in Japan, they say, no, learn how to wrestle. A lot of young lions traditionally, before they graduate, can put on, for the most part, pretty much of a banger for 20 minutes. Like, it's not going to be
Hmm.
your pay-per-view ending, but it's going to be good enough where you go, oh crap, this guy's, I think, ready for the, like, to use an
Yeah.
American metaphor, if this was a college football player, you'd be looking at him like, you're not going to be here for long. You're going to be in
Right.
the NFL very, very quickly. But I like the idea of the colors, because sometimes when I get a new viewer watching Japanese wrestling, they go, I'm watching a match with 6 people in black trunks and black knee pads and black boots wrestling. I understand it as a concept, but it can be a bit much. So we have Tatsura in gray, Inahara in blue, Takahashi in navy, and Koyanagi in the traditional black. But
Mm.
yeah, it's sort of odd watching it. But for the opening match, ding ding ding, it starts in a very traditional way for Japanese wrestling, especially the opening matches. They lock up, headlock, arm wringer, takedown, go over. Like, it's all what I like to call day one wrestling training. Go
Mm.
in there, do it, make it look crisp, and then they just get up and they walk to their corners and they both tag out and they get they start getting the crowd into it. Super Crazy threatens to just leave, which I thought, that's a very heel thing. Like I'm done. But
That's a
the
super
crowd are
crazy
like,
thing to do.
super crazy, yeah, and they get into it. Where I was like, okay, I don't know, maybe that's a him thing or something, but I wasn't so sure. But this is essentially what I like to call a dad and young lion match, where all the guys in trunks, they come in, they do basic wrestling. Super Crazy comes in, he hits his spots. Black Menzero comes in, hits their spots. And what I was sort of going into thinking is, well, Super Crazy will get the pin on one of the young guys because that won't affect anyone. You know what I mean? That's fine. We can move on. But one of the young lions in Ahata gets a. They called it a Blue Thunder Bong, but it looked like he picked him up for a sidewalk slam and then like, bam, into the Blue Thunder Bomb. So it's like an underhanded Blue Thunder Bomb. But
That's
he
kind of
got the
cool.
he got the 3 count in 6 minutes 33. It's like, any feelings on an opening match like this lower paced kind of opening?
I mean, I've always been a fan of the matches that. I mean, I wouldn't say typically lower paced, but matches that at least that'll get you kind of immersed into the show, and get you ready for what's to come. And I mean, not bad at all.
I think a lot of people are very much used to. There's a certain idea in certain companies, not trying to point a finger, you know the one, where your show, your pay-per-view, your PLE, whatever you want to call it, got to start off with a bang, like we were saying earlier, like fireworks. So when
Hmm.
I was growing up, you always had the Rockers. You always had the Luchas in WCW. You always had um, these young guys or these high rate workers, bing, bang, boom, put on a hell of a match, get everyone going.
Hmm.
Even AEW is pretty notorious for it, because if you look at their last few PLEs, not to date the show, but there's a lot of high rate opening matches. We're starting off with a bang. So
Yeah.
to see this be more of like two coaches and their proteges, I know that's not the perfect comparison, but to see this open a wrestling show felt, again, very like high budget but low quality. Not low quality, how am I going to say this? Like, you ever watch a curling tournament?
Yeah.
It might be really, but it's like very respectful, but it's also
Hmm.
very like, oh, next, okay, here we go. Like, there's no yelling, there's no screaming, it's very calm. Let's get this going.
Yeah. The
Oh,
presentation of it all. Yeah.
oh, okay, moving on.
Hmm.
Coming up next, another tag team match. Stallion Rogers, no relation, versus Stallion Rogers and Yoshiki Inamura versus Kazuyuki Fujita and Mohamed Yone.
Mm.
Fujita coming out first, wearing multicolored singlet. 55 years old, 29
Wow.
years experience, trained by Kenzei Sasaki, Antonio Inoki, and Don Fry. Are you
Yeah.
familiar with any of those people? Or do you know those names at all?
I'm definitely familiar with Tony Anoki. Uh, but it's amazing. I mean, the age of these people over there, and they're still getting in that ring and beating someone's ass. I mean, that is, I gotta say,
Uh,
that is awesome.
I just want to take a sidebar for 2 seconds. Don Fry was in the greatest MMA match of all back in the day, with which I'm gonna say it's like Yoshihiko Kadiyama, and
Mm.
these two. It's famous. It's going around now because they're playing Freebird over top of it. Imagine an MMA fight where I grab you by your scruff and you grab me by my scruff, and we for a
Or
minute
hockey
and a
fight.
half. That's it. No, like, yeah, hockey fight's a bit like this. Wham, wham, wham. Minute and a half. By the
Hmm.
end of it, Don Fry's opponent, his whole face is swollen. It's crazy. But Don Fry, legendary
Mm.
MMA fighter, and I think shoot worked matches, allegedly
Allegedly.
Yakuza shoot work matches. But yeah, I thought that was funny. Fujita's partner Yone coming out wearing black baggy pants with red flames, 50 years old,
Wow.
30 years experience. Okay, hold on. Trained by Yoshiaki Fujiwara. Have you ever heard this name
I think
in
the name
any
sounds familiar.
context?
I've heard the name. I just don't. I don't think I've ever seen any of the matches or anything like that. But I've heard the name.
So Fujiwara is literally, I had to Google this because I heard this name and like you, I went, I feel like I've heard this. You ever heard of the Fujiwara armbar?
Oh yes, yes.
That's him. This
Okay, that makes total sense.
and this isn't a like modern term. This is a term that's been around for a while now. So yeah, I just thought, wow, we're getting weird with some of these trainers and some of these ages. But their opponents, Stallion Rogers, no relation. He comes out, normal black trunks, 35 years old, 12 years experience. That sounds normal. Trained by Mike Elgin. Moving on quickly, we're not going to talk about him. Inamura wearing black old man shorts. I wrote that down. I don't know what that means anymore. I think that means the old tights that like the 80s Memphis guys would wear, and they'd have the belly, and it's not like small jocks like Dragon Lee. They're like big jocks, big old man jocks.
Yeah,
and he's got
up to the belly.
He's got a half shaved head. Like I thought it was a mohawk for a moment, but he literally went and took off half, and the other half is like this, or it's somewhat like long. 33 years old, 7 years experience, mostly Noah. But hold on. He has 33 matches in NXT in 2025. You're a bit more up that alley. Have you heard this name, Inamura?
Vaguely. I mean,
no, it's
Yoshiki. Did they use the same
Inamura.
name? Did they use the same name in NXT?
I remember there being a big Japanese lad in NXT not too long ago. So I don't know if it was him. Or if it was we'll try you out, or if it was an excursion, like we were saying earlier with some of the wrestlers going there, like almost maybe he went to the PC and then came back. That could be it. But yeah, I thought that was weird because here's a guy I've never heard of, good chunk of experience, and then just you see the NXT logo pop up on Cage Match and you go, whoa, what? Hold on. But these guys just do a simple match. Shoulder tackle spot. What I love about it is usually in a match they'll do one shoulder tackle, two shoulder tackle, and they'll do something else. These guys do about 20, then do headbutts, then do more tackles, and then they just like, all right, I'm done, and they both tag out. Like the simplicity. Is that too simple for wrestling, or is that sort of one of those things where you're like, all right, I'm in. I get it.
I mean, to me, that kind of gets me right there. That gets me right there, and I'm like, okay, I get it. I'm in now. Okay, I want to see what's gonna go on with these two.
We get that it's simple. We get that you're not doing anything elaborate, but this kind of like stubbornness.
Yes.
Like we can elaborate more as we go on to the show, but there's a lot of like. What I love about pro wrestling is traditionally in American wrestling, if you want to hear how a character reacts in a situation, you put them in a ring with a microphone and they talk through the situation. You made me feel like blah, blah, blah. And that's why Mr. Jacobs next month, blah, blah, blah. So when you see two people in the ring moving out these emotions,
right,
you're like, oh, this is what wrestling is. Like they're just doing shoulder tackles. But you understand the idea of like, I did something and I want it to work. Like, so I'm just going to do it again. And the more that it's not working, the more I'm getting frustrated, the more and they're both getting it. And you're like, yes, I can feel the like stubbornness coming out of both these characters, which is sort of like.
They did a great job conveying that. They did a great job conveying that.
Yeah. And I love the fact that they just go, all right, okay. Rogers and Yone come in and like poetry, they go one tackle set up like they're about to do the shoulder tackle spot again, and they just I believe he just I thought I had it written down, but he's like they go hair pull, no fake out, no we're not doing that, and you can hear the crowd like that roller coaster where there's about to hit that second pattern, no cut you out. And everyone's like, okay, we get what you did, which was a lot of fun. But they just start standing and trading, which I love the good old. It's not the yay boo spot. It's just the I want to punch you in the face spot.
Yeah.
Bang, 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 bang. We get a 2 count. We get a breakup. Yone sets up the lariat, and Rogers gets him with a roll up. Haha! 1, 2, 3, and in 4 minutes and 23 seconds, we just had one of the shortest tag team matches. Okay, did this feel under 5 minutes?
It felt a little. I mean, it felt to me. It felt like 5 minutes because I wasn't really timing it. It felt like just about 5 minutes.
I think what I'm trying to express is sometimes when you watch a match that's short, you go, it's a short match. Yep. I can tell, like, you can kind of tell as you're going through it, this is a short match. Watching this match, usually saying something felt longer than it was is a insult. But I would say for this, it's like I didn't notice its lack of length. You know what I mean? There was enough motion in the ocean to make up for the size of the ship, if you follow me. So I thought it was a weird little match. But for the second one in, we still have that sort of calm sports vibe. Like the crowd hasn't picked up yet. But yeah, any thoughts about any of these guys before we move on to the next match?
I was very unfamiliar with a lot of them, but it's like, watching them for the first time, I think like it's especially for the older men. I mean, that's something to aspire to. I want to be like that when I'm 50 something years old, still being able to at least walk,
and
to at least be able
to. And never once while we were talking about the match or any of these people did we go, oh,
right.
Oh, it was never sad. You know, when you see someone walk out, I know Tenzin in New Japan was notorious for this. He was an older guy, but he had really bad ankles. So as much as he was healthy, he had a notorious limp. And when he went to run the ropes, it's like Stone Cold. When your knees are shot and they're your springs, what are you going to do? But I don't know if it's how these guys work or how these guys train or their diet or whatever it may be. But 55 years old and worked a match where we did not once go, well, the bright side was, we have not, like, it was all positives. Like, is it 5-star matches, Dave Meltzer, whatever that expression is supposed to mean? No. But this is like, man, I really wish there was like a good analogy for this. It's almost sort of watching a tournament where the first couple matches are low stakes. So you're like, you'll watch the first ones, you're like, whatever. But by the end of the tournament, you're fully glued. So right now, everyone's like sort of watching, but maybe I'll go get a beer. Maybe I'll go grab that shirt I wanted to get while these guys are out. So it's a comfy vibe, but it's not that intense yet. But out next, 8-man tag team match. Oh my God, lots of names, but we're going to get through them. Team 2000X, which I feel like is a name out of a comic book or a like X-Men or like a Super Nintendo. But I checked
it sounds like a Nintendo game.
It's not 2000 like 200X, like 2000 unknown year. It's literally Team 2000X.
Oh.
Okay. I would have done the other thing, but I don't know what.
It's different, nothing wrong with being different.
Maybe this is a thing like Final Fantasy, where when you first hear of like Final Fantasy 12, you go, well, that's a silly name. But then when you hear the reason of the name, you go, oh, because the first game he thought was going to be the last one he ever made, so therefore it was his Final Fantasy. Oh, okay. So Team 2000X, odd name, but coming out of a Japanese announcer's mouth still has that 2000X. Like, I'm in. I got it. Like, right. I'm down. So, quickly, we have Alpha Wolf, black singlet, 27 years old, 16 years experience. Jun Masaoka, black rib shorts, 35 years old, 16 years experience. Ozawa, Sabu pants, I'm calling him. Hopefully everyone knows what I mean. 29 years old, 8 years experience, and Tadasuke, 40 years old, 19 years experience. His trainer, Ultimo Dragon.
Nice.
Oh, also Shofunaki, but you wouldn't know Shofunaki no, right?
Funaki.
He's one of those guys. Everyone goes, wait a minute, do you mean Funaki? We love that guy. Any of these names ring a bell or no?
Absolutely. I mean, especially Funaki. I mean,
No,
SmackDown number
that
one
was the trainer. I meant the 4 in the match: Alpha Wolf,
commentator.
Jun Masaoka, Ozawa, and Tadasuke. Because to be honest, I might be on your page where I'm like, who? Pull up the cage match real quick. Do I know any of these guys? I don't think we would know any of these guys. Lots of just Noah.
Yeah, a lot of these names are like unfamiliar to me, really. But I'm learning about them as I go. You know.
Speaking of unfamiliar, out second, Amasuka, blue pants and white. It just says blue pants with white. Never mind. 40 years old, 20 years experience. Otashima, 25 years old, 1 year experience. Whoa, hold on.
Oh,
Kid
rookie.
Lycos, 29 years experience, 29 years old, 15 years experience. Kid Lycos 2. I don't know how I feel about that. 23 years old, 10 years experience. Wait. Did I just say 23 years old with 10 years experience? Because I wrote that down from his cage match and I went, but no, that can't be right. So I Google it for the first 2 years. So when he's 11 or 12 and 13 or whatever, I'm bad at math. He had like 4 matches combined.
Oh, okay.
So that sounds a little bit better. He probably had a junior class in his school and they had him 1-2 matches here and there. Fine.
That checks out.
And then when he hit 15, boom, that increased. And that makes sense because the school I went to, they had a kids class and you could not bump in the kids class, flat back, boom. As soon as you hit 15, they deemed you old enough. I don't know. Look, I'm not getting into the science of it all. I'm just saying that was their cutoff. So as far as I know, that makes sense. But this match starts up a little bit different than everybody else because the heels, which I love, just and attack the faces and get it going. But this is a so here we go. Okay. I think I got it confused with a different match here, but they just sort of pair up and brawl. It's just a lot of brawling. We get a move that I don't think I've ever seen. This is a very like Johnny Nitro move. So Ozawa puts the guy in the corner like you would a traditional corner move, moonsault, whatever. Stands on the inside, jumps up, plants his feet on the turnbuckle like this, pushes out and does a moonsault. Have you ever seen that in your life?
No, I don't think. No, not anybody do it like that. That's pretty awesome.
It's sort of kind of like a Starship Pain and the idea that you like jump up and bounce off, but this is very like parkour. Like it was a bit iffy, but it wasn't iffy enough. I would say stop doing it. It was iffy enough where you go, oh, that looked kind of really cool, but kind of also kind of dangerous at the same time.
That's the thing. It's one of those moves I wouldn't do in every match. You know, I wouldn't pull that off in every match.
So maybe it's just the one of 4 things that he does when they say get your shit in. Who knows what he does when they get to like bigger matches if Ozawa does bigger matches. But yeah, I thought that was I was like, oh, that's a standing moment there. Or that's a weird sort of standout moment. And as I'm thinking about that, we get Otashima, made sure to write this down. He gets back in and it's like a go behind. So the guy's from behind and he jumps up, twisting drop kick. No one does that. Everyone does twisting the like straight and you turn. No one, it's like a 180 drop kick.
I love the variations, man. I love the different variations of simple moves. I love that stuff.
and just modify. My notes here is we get a corner spot and a John Woo. Are you familiar with the expression John Woo? Like
Vaguely.
the move in wrestling terms, John Woo, not the director or the like movies, John Woo.
Oh, okay. Now those terms, no, not really.
Okay, so a John Woo is a type of drop kick. It's a very specific type of drop kick. So we have like standing, we have basement. John Woo is going to be the drop kick where you're standing. I run at you. I plant my feet on your chest and I like push you into the corner. Because that was the one that was famous from his movies. The guy would come over and do that same drop kick. But it's a very specific type of drop kick. But I've only heard that expression said by Australians. I've done that move in a match, and I've never heard anyone call it John Woo. My trainers have never called it John Woo. I've used that expression. No one understands it in the context of a match. When I say it to an Australian, they go like, "Oh, check out that John Woo." This announcer, I didn't get which one called it a John Woo, but I was like, "Hey, this is okay." There's a like. We watched on Road Trip Wrestling a company called APC, Association de Professionnel de Catch. It's a French independent wrestling company, and in France they don't call it pro wrestling, they call it catch. But they had a like different language for certain events. So they didn't, this is for one fall. They had something like that, but they would say if it was by knockout or submission, and you would say knockout, stunning, submission. Like,
oh, that sounds
different
fun.
cultures have their different like, there's different languages we all speak, even though we're speaking the same language. It's one of those, like, no matter how much we think we know about wrestling, as soon as we take that step foot in a different company, you're like, oh God, there's, what do they call it in languages? Dialects?
Yeah, dialects.
It's like they're speaking the same language but different dialects. So every so often you have to like translate.
That's
But
a good way to put it.
this match wraps up in. I don't really have a lot of notes on this one, to be honest. After the John Woo, we get a little bit of back and forth. Oh, right. This one, Odashima, he gets a weird like leg lock, and it looks like he's messing it up, and he's kind of rolling on the ground and rolling on the ground and rolling on the ground, and then eventually he like gets a sort of grapevine and catches this guy in one of the most complicated roll-ups I think I've ever seen. It's like a weird jiu-jitsu grapevine, and it was like, well, going back to what we're saying, like simplicity but creativity. It's just a roll-up, but it's something different, and it's something that makes you go, oh, what else can this person do? So maybe it's like Odashima, red trunks, knee pads, 1 year experience. Maybe we gotta come back to this person. I'm gonna put him on I think I'm gonna start a list in Road Trip Wrestling that's people we have to keep an eye on. Because there's a guy in France called Mecca who's like the Black Taz, for lack of a better term. But he has that shape and he has that kind of mean look. And it's like, oh, put him on the list.
It sounds awesome.
Like, I can send you a link also, after. Trust me, he is. But Odashima, it's like, we might have to put this person on the list for now and come back and take a look. But this was a very basic match, and the heels gave most of it to the faces. Like there was a lot of shine, but going back to the feel of the show, we start ramping up that tension in the crowd that we're talking about, because you can hear the fans like, all right, we're getting into this. We're getting
heated up.
Okay, so it's not something that I traditionally like, but I thought we'd take a moment to talk about this because I thought this was fun. One of the guys, Tadasuke, comes out and he says, I have an invite for the N1. Have you heard of this before, the N1?
No, I have not heard of that.
It's
that's new to me.
What is it? You know what the C2 is? The Continental Classic?
Oh, yeah, C2. Yeah.
then you know what the N1 is. It's a it's the G1, but for Noah, they have a different spin on it, mostly
Okay, I
for
got you
name,
now.
but it's
I got you now.
round what do they call it? Round robin block tournament. Tadasuke says, I have an invite for it, and Odashima comes out and stands on a ladder up here. So you're down here and I'm up here and I'm cutting a promo. Have you seen promos like this? I want to say there's been a couple,
Yeah.
but like
I think Kevin
you
Owens,
stand on
he
the
did
ladder
one.
and
I think Kevin Owens did a promo on the ladder. Whenever they're doing anytime they do Money in the Bank in WWE, they do a promo on the ladder. Somebody does a promo on the ladder.
He Who Shall Not Be Named was famous for doing one on a promo because okay, so Kevin Owens, these are the ups and downs of wrestling. Kevin Owens, he did a promo. I remember this. I wasn't even following at the time, but I totally remember this moment because it was Money in the Bank. So they want to sell the ladders. Everybody go get on ladders, right? And they're all varying heights, so it's not a weird shot. And they start talking, and I want to say that it was just all of a sudden Kevin Owens is like, why are you questioning any of this? We're all standing on ladders. None of this makes any sense. And he totally calls out the moment and the silliness of the moment. We all get to make a laugh of it. But by having your tongue firmly in your cheek, you're allowing the fans to kind of relax a bit. We know this is silly. You know this is silly. We're having fun with it. It's like SNL. He Who Shall Not Be Named, hopefully you know who I mean by that, stood on a ladder and just went, I'm going to fight my opponent at the next pay-per-view. I'm obviously not going to attempt to do their voice because, they shall not be named. But yeah, it's sort of weird watching it. But I thought this was a interesting sports stipulation. I have an invite to an upcoming tournament. I don't know if there's a sports analogy I can use, but hey, I have a chance to go on for a chance to fight for the title at the big event.
Like an invitation, basically.
And you want the invitation. So we're going to put the invitation in a case and put it on a ladder.
Okay.
And we can fight. And I went, that 100% makes total sense to me. There's no question. I don't need to know about their relationship. I don't need to know about their background. I get it. Tournament, these are career stakes on the line. You know, like, I don't know if WWE does I really want to get into King of the Ring. I need to get into King of the Ring because if I win King of the Ring, then I can. Like, I don't know if they play it up like that.
They did it this past year. I mean, with this last King of the Ring, they kind of played it off like that.
Traditionally, for the G1 and the N1, if you win, that's like a Royal Rumble winning. You get the main event shot at the championship title at the big year-end pay-per-view, blah blah blah. So to me, it's like I'm 100%. I don't even know who you guys are, but I understand the stakes enough to go, oh, that's a pressure. So
yeah,
maybe I gotta come back to this and see. Finally, smaller match, tag team match. I believe this is number 4. Ida and Shuji Kondo versus Keno and Nero. They're gonna grill me for not saying this right. Nero Michi Marufuji. Naomichi Marufuji. Kondo and Ida come out first. Kondo, multicolored trunks, lots of tassels, very like Ultimate Warrior-esque, like lots all over. 48 years old, 25 years experience, trained by some unknown dude named Ultimo Dragon. Ada, wearing black pants, 34 years old, 15 years experience. He's out of the Dragon Gate dojo. Are you familiar with Dragon Gate at all? Just kind of passing?
I am familiar with Dragon Gate.
I believe where Kenta came from. So there's a couple names that might... They've also had a couple controversies that might get their name out there, but
we're not gonna touch
Keno. yeah. Keno comes out next wearing red pants and boots. 41 years old, 18 years experience. Trainer Shinsei Shinzaki. Now, I didn't Google this, but as I'm reading this, correct me if I'm wrong, is Shinsei Shinzaki the fella that was in WWE that had he wrestled Bret Hart long time ago. He had these like tattoo stamps on him.
Yeah, he was Haku in WWF.
Akushi. Yeah, I believe so. So I'm like, it's funny as we're going through these. It's like, oh, I'm not familiar with
A character by the way, a character that was ahead of its time in the WWF back then. That character was so ahead of its time.
It's another one of those cases of like, I'm not familiar with who you are, but I've heard of your trainer. Your trainer is a definitely big name.
Yeah.
We get to another one, Marufuji. Are you familiar with Marufuji? He's a big enough name I can pause and go, you might know Marufuji.
Yes, I think so.
It's one of those names, right? Where you're like, this guy's like a Terry Funk journeyman, been everywhere. 46 years old, 27 years experience. His trainers are Giant Baba and Mitsuhara Masawa. That's like if your trainers were JBL and Eddie Guerrero. That's a bad analogy, but like your trainers are Hercules and Zeus. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Out of the pantheon of Japanese wrestling, you literally got trained by two of the most important. Arguably, you know, you can move some names around, but they're up there when it comes to like lineage and history and all that stuff. But yeah, we were talking about ages earlier. The average age would be, well, the lowest is 34 with 15 years experience. So they started when they were 20. So that's okay. This is another shorter match because you can tell with all these guys, Kondo and Marufuji start very slow. This is like Memphis. They have a weird hiccup like as they're doing some of the moves, but for their age, a lot of it is like clean. Like this is not, oh, they're getting up there. This is like, sorry, what did you say their age was? Do you have a good sports analogy? What was that quarterback that's like late 40s but has like 12 Super Bowl rings? I want to say Brett Favre, but I could be wrong.
Brett, he was up there by the time he decided to retire.
I want to say LeBron's getting up there in age, but is still like a phenomenal athlete. Like LeBron's not, you know what I mean? Dad says from what I know, but he's not, you know, spring chicken anymore. So it's weird seeing these like aged athletes, what we might think is like, nope, time's up. What's AJ? I would have had this information if I thought of it earlier, but I want to say AJ like similar age to 52.
Yeah, he's in his early 50s. I'm not sure exactly what his age is, but I know he's in his early 50s.
1977. It says 49 years old.
Oh, so he's 49.
So AJ's retiring at 49. I'm not saying anything for or against it. We're just observation. And we got fellas over here in their 50s. Okay, they're not doing springboards. They're not doing Summer Slams and WrestleManias. I know there is a difference. As much as I'm not a fan of the show, I can understand there's a difference in physical exertion. But yeah, to be 52 years old and not to be spoken of in a like, oh, soon. Like who's the Hardy Boys? Soon.
Oh yeah, I like with Matt Hardy especially.
Hey, we all like the Hardys. You know, there's nothing. I hope they have a long career because they've had one already. But like,
oh yeah, I love them.
They retired 5 years ago. I would have went, yeah, about time. 5 years ago, like, but they're still in TNA, I believe, and they're still doing stuff. Yeah, these guys work well. It's a similar style match. So two guys come in, they work well, and then they just go, okay, we're done, and they take out their respective partners. And Keno gets in, and we get a little bit of a 2-on-1. And I like this moment in Japanese wrestling where they give Ada, the babyface. They give him a moment where he fights off both men. So let's say, like, you and Jason, you guys are beating me up, and through my perseverance, I'm able to duck your lariat, hit Jason, turn around, hit you with a drop kick, and have a like, yeah, moment.
Yeah.
Do you see that a lot in WWE where it's like clearly no one person beat two people? Like they didn't beat them. This isn't
Every
the end of
once
the
in a
match.
while,
The exchange is the boom, 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 boom.
I think every once in a while they'll have a spot like that, but it's usually like in a pay-per-view situation.
Like, oh yeah, obviously if it's a multi-man match or if it's a rumble, yeah, you're gonna have the spots. But I find them very familiar in Japanese wrestling, and I love them because it's like it's the ultimate showing your fire spot, right? Like,
Yeah.
Cause you heels are cheating, it pisses me off so much as a babyface. It fires me up, and bang, 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 I can fight my way through. So I love it as a like fighting spirit spot. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I can power through all your cheating just off my sheer audacity, my sheer will and spite. So I
The Eye
do
of the
love,
Tiger.
yeah. So I love seeing that sort of those exchanges and them getting that sort of fire.
Yeah.
We get a very simple finish, which is a theme of Road Trip Wrestling, actually, in general, but of tonight. 7 minutes and 40 seconds. Big Lariato. Kondo pins Marufuji which I'm going to call, honestly, like academic match. Like, you could teach this to students. 8 minutes.
That's fair.
Tag
Yeah.
team. Everyone got over. Any thoughts before we kind of move on?
I love the finish. The finish was awesome, and I was after the finish personally because this is around like the time or around the time where I finally got my technical difficulties fixed, and I was able to watch throughout the whole show, and I was like, okay, yeah, let's go, let's fucking go.
Yeah, there's something extremely kind of satisfying in life. It's the simple things, you know what I mean? A cool breeze on a hot day, you know, ice in your drink, and when you're sitting in the sun, like simple things, and watching a big thick lad take another man's head off with a lariat is like running through a sprinkler with your feet, you know, bare feet, you know what I mean? It's one of those rainbows and pretty girls and sunsets and lariat.
I mean
just,
that lariat, man. I was I was like, God damn, you know, because I remember looking back at it, man. I mean, his head, the way it went back when he hit that lariat, dude. I was like, is he okay, bro?
Yeah, it was yeah, it's fun seeing those little moments. So even though it's like low energy, every so often you get one of those big slams where the sweat comes off and it kind of flies. Yeah. Okay, good news. Intermission is next. Are you like, do you watch a lot of shows with an actual intermission where they come out and say, okay, thank you, go pee?
Not really. I mean, I've been to a lot of shows where there's intermissions, but I've never actually watched shows where the intermission was that.
Yeah, live shows, I think everyone I've ever been to has an intermission. It's very traditional in wrestling. No matter where you go, live show has an intermission because, like, you've got 20,000 people. Like, if you're in a big arena, if you're WWE, AEW, like, people gotta pee. You know what I mean? People want to.
Right.
You gotta get snacks. You want them to buy your merch. So it's all gotta play together. So yeah, every show I've been to has a like, thank you for coming. We're gonna have a 15-minute intermission, and it feels so odd, but at the same time, like, as you're watching it, does it feel a bit of like old school TV where you're like, oh, okay, quick, cool, I'll be right back.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Where you're like, okay, I don't have to pause the show. I don't have to miss a match. What's that say? 15 minutes or whatever. Like, okay.
It's like halftime. It's like halftime at a football game or a basketball game.
It reminds me of like when you're watching a movie. I'm old enough that there was this thing called cable. I don't know if you youngins ever had it, but you'd be watching a movie and the commercial would come in, and there'd literally be a moment of, I have a minute and a half
Right.
to pee. You know what I mean? I go
You
get a
turn
drink,
commercials.
and
Yep.
the whole time you're like, I don't want to miss it. I don't want to miss it. So yeah, to have a show where it's no like, traditionally I watched a lot of these shows on Discord. So to be able to go, okay, everyone, we mute our mics, we walk away, we come back, we're all refreshed. Because honestly, we can go through very quickly what they did in the intermission. We cut back to the announcers like every other show. It's very sort of quiet, low energy. We cut to a Good Brothers promo, which I'm going to say is low energy. I don't know if they were jet lagged, but it was like, yeah, we're going to win.
They may be jet lag because they do a lot of traveling.
Yeah. Oh, we've seen them. I want to say we've seen them twice on Road Trip Wrestling, but I might just be confusing because we watched NWA and they were in one of the tournaments, but we didn't watch them wrestle. But yeah, they pop up everywhere. I watched an episode of Memphis Wrestling. They pop up there for a little bit. So these guys are working everywhere. But it's funny because I was like, hey, Good Brothers, low energy, you guys suck. And then they cut to their opponents, which are like, full energy, full cocaine. It's the 80s, buddy, and we love it.
Just the contrast is great.
It's like, was it planned? I think it was planned because it was so whoa.
They have to plan that comedy, man, because I mean that's just comedy gold right there. Because the contrast between them, and then when they cut, and then they just go, I mean, dude, they had to know what they were doing with that one.
And it's funny because you're like, as you're watching the Good Brothers promo, you're like, man, it's really true what they say about Japan. You don't really have to cut a good promo at all. Like you like anything would work. Ah, ha ha ha. And then it cuts to their opponents, and you're like, oh, never mind. Okay, these guys, I have no idea what you said, but I'm on board. Choo choo, let's go, baby. Like,
I mean, think about it. If you think about it, you ever seen Hulk Hogan's old promos from Japan? They sucked. They were just horrible promos. But they got over because you look at his opponents and you saw what you actually saw the matches back then. I mean, you get it. He didn't have to give 110%. I mean, all he had to do was go in there and just say, "Hey, I'm gonna be number one, Ichiban." It was like it wasn't difficult for him.
there is a thing. I'm not going to turn this into a whole thing, but there is a thing about with Japanese crowds. They do understand the minorest bit of English.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people traditionally are told is use as many simple words and basic things as possible. Because the more you do that, the more they're going to understand. If you say June 18th, they're going to get it. If you say a dirt bag, they're going to get it. But if you make a like sort of a pun in English, if you use like a specifically I love it. You ever see Ted Lasso and he'll make like an American baseball reference and everyone in Britain's like, we don't know. We don't understand. Like if you make a cricket reference at the NFL, no one's gonna get it. So it's one of those like keep it simple. But there are people like Kenny Omega that turn that on their heads because they're like, I'm gonna speak simply, but I'm gonna talk like this, and he would put that anime voice on top, which was like, wow. I miss anime promo Kenny Omega. But moving on, there's not much to talk about in the rest of the intermission because it's just the Japanese announcers only. So I don't know if the English announcers actually went to go hit the bathroom too.
They probably did.
Japanese announcers. Then we get a video ad for the platform we are currently watching the show on. So does Netflix have ads for Netflix on Netflix?
Yeah, they do. They have like for their original shows and
but I mean like this was an ad to be like buy our platform.
Like yeah, they'll have ads to sell their own platform, yeah.
But it's like I'm watching the show on the platform though. So I don't know if
Right.
this was also on television where they're saying the television, like WWE said, go watch the network. I get that. But to me, I'm going to like, I'm watching it on Wrestle Universe. Why are you telling me to buy Wrestle Universe? Like, you want again? You want me to have 2 accounts? Because I'll do it. I'll do what you want.
They want you to give as much money as you can. That's what
let's
they
let's
want.
That's what everybody wants. But we get ad for an upcoming show called Summer Epic, which sounds cool when said in a Japanese accent, not in my Canadian terrible accent, my terrible Canadian accent. And yeah, they just, what I thought was funny is we had this before, but they just cut to a white screen with all the logos of the sponsors for the shows.
Yeah.
And they just go Kleenex, Kellogg's. Well, these are all Japanese companies. I'm just filling in because I can't remember all the names. But okay, how do I phrase this? This is one of those things that, like, if WWE did this, we might get a little upset. But this, these were the only ads in the show that weren't Noah ads. These were the only advertisements that were for exterior brands. So okay, I don't know how I'm gonna try my best to phrase this in a way. Is this a better way of doing advertisement than WWE's doing it, or is this a little like, should it be spread out a little bit more, or because this is like 2 minutes of just white screen and logos for the viewer. You
I
know
mean,
what I mean? So
really.
is this?
I mean, realistically, I mean WWE. They kind of they're really no different, really, when it comes to their advertisement, because they'll take, that let's say like the last pay per view, for instance, or like the last WrestleMania, whatever. After like the midway through the show, they'll have like a good 2 or 3 minute block of just promos and infomercials, like about vodka or dude wipes or whatever. They'll kind of bombard you with those advertisements for about a good 2 or 3 minutes, and then they'll go on to like the second part of the show. So I mean, it's not really any different.
I would say it's like I would agree. I'm not going to disagree there. It's the same thing, but it's one of those elements where you're like the dialect, like we are saying, language and dialect. You're speaking the same language because
Mm-hmm.
these are like your Snickers, your Skittles. What else they call collect? There's all those companies that WWE
Mm-hmm.
was famous for having. I know AEW has had a bunch of them recently. I just can't remember any good ones off the top of my head, but they've had all sorts, beer companies and that kind of stuff are beginning into wrestling. So,
Mm-hmm.
like that, I understand. But having it so like, thank you to Kleenex, thank you to Kellogg's, thank you.
very, very
That's
straightforward.
like we're saying the dialect is different. Like you're saying the same
Yeah.
things, but it's presented in such a different way where it's like, oh, okay, bit weird, but I mean, it doesn't affect me because I'm still taking a piss because this is still intermission.
Right.
So it's not like they're jamming it in between matches or breaks. So you know what I mean? Maybe my whole argument is a moot point because of the timing of it. But I don't know. I just think it's sort of odd to get this very like 1960s television show. Like, thank you to Kellogg's for, you know, paying for the Beverly
T-Box Talks.
Hillbillies. Yeah, like seems very old school. But the good news is we're back to the show with a 8-man tag team match. The good news is you and y'all, the viewer at home, are gonna at least know one of these names. Um, Out first, the first 4, Team 2000X, Massa. I checked. That's it. That's his whole name. 27 years old, 14 years experience. Takashi, black shorts,
Mm-hmm.
56 years old, 25 years experience. Um, Trained by, I saw the name and I had a eureka moment. So one of Takashi's trainers is Yoshihiro Takayama. Yoshihiro
Mm-hmm.
Takayama is the guy I was talking about earlier that fought Don Fry and they punched each other in the face for a minute and a half. So I'm just so thankful that I saw that now. But anyway, next person, Hayata, black baggy pants, 38 years old, 19 years experience. Endo, white trunks, 34 years old, 14 years experience. trained by some guy named Kenny Omega. Have you heard of this?
It
And
seems
then it says
familiar.
Jun Akiyama. I don't know. I don't know if I know any either of those names. It's a very gonna have to look
Vaguely
them up
familiar.
later. Yeah, probably some independent people.
It
Big
does ring a
Ohars.
bell. It rings a bell here and
Um,
there.
so the second group of four out: Kaito, Kaito Kiyomiya,
Mhm.
29 years old, 10 years experience. Kenta, I don't know if anybody's heard of that. 45 years old, 26 years experience. Bushi, 43 years old, 19 years experience. And some guy named Tetsuya Naito, 44 years old, 20 years experience. Are you
So
familiar with any of these
some
names?
dude, some
Some
dude
dude
named
named
Naito.
some guy named Kenta. Are you familiar? We're obviously joking, but
Of course, we're being
let's start.
sarcastic.
Let's start with Kenta. What's your how are you familiar with Kenta?
His early days in NXT, I remember his early days back then, and how he was always injury prone. That damn shoulder, it still messes with him to this day.
And he still has that big old scar. Um, so I was a bit familiar with Kenta because Kenta's one of those guys that, like Marufuji, was influential years ago. How do I phrase this? Okay, so CM Punk took the GTS from Kenta. So Kenta
Hmm.
inspired a younger person and gave a finishing move. Daniel Bryan took that big knee that he does from
Yeah.
Kenta. So there's another younger person taking a move inspiration from the older generation. Bryan Danielson is retired. CM Punk is in the argument of dad category of, do you retire? Do you move down the card? Like, what else can you do with your age? How much longer do you have?
Hmm.
Kenta is still going fairly strong. Like, he's not, doing these big matches, but 2026 Kenta. I'm gonna say I'm sort of a fan of modern Kenta. Have you seen modern Kenta at all?
Yeah, I mean, I think that he's doing great, and as long as he can stay away from injury, as long as you can stay away from injury, I mean, like I said, I'm happy that he's healthy and able and still able to go in that ring and do what he loves to do. I love watching
And
him. Sweet.
so on a less of a joking note, but on a serious note, are you familiar with Tetsuya Naito? Have you heard this name in the ether of
I've
wrestling?
heard the name. Yeah, I've definitely heard the name.
You've heard the name, but you're not necessarily so familiar with his work at the moment.
Right.
So Naito, I'm not gonna get into it. I just give you a little tiny moment, but Naito might be the closest argument that anyone's ever had to a Japanese Stone Cold. It's not a direct comparison, but what they mean by that is, tried to be a baby face and that didn't fail. Turned heel, and their heel act was so convincing, it shot him up the ranks, and they've been coasting off a similar gimmick because Stone Cold Steve Austin has been that Stone Cold Steve Austin since the 90s.
Yeah.
Tetsuya Naito has penned Tranquilo for 15 years now, so he's one of those guys that's he's been around for 20 years, but I think the
Mhm.
whole Tranquilo Tetsuya Naito started about 10 years ago. I could be wrong. That's a whole history books.
Mhm.
And speaking of history books, there's nothing exciting until about a third of the way in this match. So the heels jumpstart the match. It's just brawling. Uh, Bushi hits a Rana. They get Kaito Kiyomiya tags in the hard way where they kind of hit each other. Kaito hits a international, which is a good old like headlock, shoot off the ropes, tackle, hip toss.
Mhm.
They do the old kind of double drop kick, and everybody pauses and stops. And we get an earthquake.
Yeah, that was crazy. That
Have
was
you
crazy. An actual earthquake.
have you ever once in your life ever seen an earthquake? Like, how do we put this in anything? And then ever in wrestling.
Never.
Like, have you ever seen it in any other sport before? Like,
I think it's happened before, like in football, but
I assume in California
but
they've got to
I don't
have
know. But I've
one.
never seen it happen in wrestling before.
Yeah, I've only seen it one time, and it was during a New Japan show. I can't remember the show off the top of my head, but I'm sure if we Googled like earthquakes wrestling shows, it's bound to pop up. But I think it was just a smaller show, and they did exactly what they did here. So everyone kind of pauses, and for a brief moment, I swear you see the real people, because this is a real earthquake. They said 5.5 rating. I'm a Canadian. I don't know what that means, but I'm sure 5.5 to someone means buildings are falling over. Okay, so I'm gonna treat this with all respect due to disasters and stuff. But it was fun. I hate to say it, weird, odd, sort of seeing it because they all stop, and it felt like I'm not too familiar with driving, but it felt like on a race when someone crashes and the rest of the race goes, slow down. And you know what I mean? Everybody kind of crawls and they let everybody get out of the way. And then they give about this felt like that. Like you see the ref actively tell everyone no. The baby faces start like, is everyone okay? Does anyone need water? Which is very, very baby face. And then we wait. There's this pause. I think everybody's looking around because the ref has an earpiece. So everyone's looking at the ref. The ref's doing this. So I think they're just waiting for like a official. I have no idea what an earthquake protocol is, especially with 1,000 people in this hall. This isn't one building. This is I think the 5th floor of a building of a series of these halls. So I couldn't even imagine trying to get 8,000 people out of this thing. But
I do love how the heels. I do love how the heels started trolling after a while.
Okay, this felt very special. Like you see some of this on like highlights of tennis when the tennis players start like joking, they start like goofing around. Because there's nothing to do and they can't really work the rest of the match. They have to just like kill time. So they just start pointing at each other. I don't know what they're saying. It's in Japanese, but I get the feeling it's like buddies chirping each other.
Yeah.
Big dog. Big dog. Look at this guy over here sweating his buck. Oh, shut up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It felt like that. Which was like, do you see this less sort of more, it's like more casual interactions now in WWE and in AEW? Because this felt less like in character and more like this is honestly them just goofing.
Yeah, it felt a lot.
And this
like
is on
that.
TV. Like I know it's a special moment, but
I think it was hilarious. One of the better moments of the match was just them trolling each other.
Yeah, hopefully I didn't Google. Hopefully everything's fine in Japan because eventually we hear an announcement and the crowd are just like, yeah, and the wrestlers are like, all right, and they just like
play ball.
I don't know if they just knew exactly where they were in the match, but they just start up because the crowd's going, and they do a lot of fun little spots, going back to something inventive. So you're the baby face, I'm the heel. It's like Bret Hart, he'd do the sharpshooter in the corner.
Yeah.
Like you're on the inside. So the heel's pulling the face, so his crotch is in the pole. One of the guys on the heel team that's not the heel, Kaito Kiyomiya is, I think, a tweener, babyface somewhere, comes over and grabs the babyface as the like save the babyface.
Yeah.
And they do the like, huh, ha, huh, ha. Kaito lets go. The babyface takes the nut shot to the pole, and the heel does the whoa, Three Stooges. Is this a first? Like, have we seen this before?
I'm trying to think of where I might have seen a spot like that before, but I can't remember where I was seeing a spot just like that. But it was
so
hilarious.
Familiar. It was like, I'm not like, there's no like knocking it, but it's one of those moments where you watch it and you go, this has been done before, right? Like this
I'm pretty sure it has been done before, though. I'm pretty sure
no one's figured out to do that yet. Like that was great, and it's a small little bit, and they move on. So it's like, okay. But yeah, a lot of this stuff is like very basic stuff, whips, lariats. There's not a lot of like cleaning house. We get a Kenta Takeshi stand and trade. Yeah, a lot of this is sort of like tagging in, tagging out, and I have to highlight this out because they do what I like to call the L1 special. Do you know this expression
The,
from the old video games
the L1.
where it's like everyone's got their special or
Yep.
bo 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 bo
Yep.
bo. But we get okay. So the match goes on as normal, and eventually, the team starts to break down. It's a little bit of Kaito and Naito fighting, and Naito and Bushi fight off their own teammates.
That was weird.
And Hayata, their opponent, tries to take advantage, but Naito gets a fancy little roll up and a 3 count. What's your opinion on Naito and Bushi not only beating their opponents, but their other tag team partners?
To be honest with you, I could not stop laughing. I thought it was so fucking funny. But the finish came down to a tiny small package after all that chaos. A little small package, and I like that. I honestly like that. You know, I'm a huge fan of that.
Speaking of enjoying things, how do you like the Naito doing a pop-up dick kick right at the end of the match?
Very poignant.
It's very comedic because the pop-up insinuates you're going to do something fancy,
Right.
like a power bomb or something. But yeah, just the dick kick and the laziness. How hilarious.
The comedy level is like it's like the Samoa Joe fake. The comedy level is up there.
Yeah, Naito has this very I don't want to say worn character. He's done it for a while, but it's a very specific type of not gimmick character. He's nonchalant. He doesn't care. He's hard to rattle. He's too cool for school.
Right.
Like there's a lot of times where
Like
he just turns his back to his opponent. Yeah, so it's not like you can say gimmick, oh, trash man. He's a bull rider. But you could say no, but his character traits are he's rebellious. He fought his own teammates. He's got his best friend with him and they fight tooth and nail against everyone. Like
Yeah.
So there's weird character traits that you pick up that are more I guess like less TV American TV stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's more like
yeah.
you read it in the wrestling. But Naito does a promo. Thank goodness for the English commentary. He compliments Kaito and promotes the upcoming match, July 18th, 2026. And what I thought was funny is he complimented Kaito. Like, you, my opponent, are good. I like you. It sucks that I have to beat you.
Right.
I love when wrestlers don't shit on their opponent.
Yeah, I'm always a fan of that. Like, you know, like nowadays that's something to me that's them showing them respect to them first and foremost, saying, "Hey, I get it, man. You got skills, but you're not better than me." You know, it's something like that. I like that. I mean, and as opposed to them just shitting on them the whole time. Like
jabroni.
Right. You know, it is something cool to see whenever the opponent that's getting ready to slaughter you is saying, "Hey, you're good, just not as good as me." You know.
And what I kind of like about it is you're doing the right thing, and also another layer of it is Tetsuya Naito. It's hard to tell if he's being real or if he's being so sarcastic.
Yes.
That it's like British sarcastic, where you really are struggling to figure out if he's making fun of you by saying, "I respect
That's
you."
his brilliance.
But
I
you
think.
see in his eyes where he's like, "You're a piece of like." So it's, you know, you have that fun. He's doing the right thing. There's a little bit of character stuff, and I believe it is a one-on-one they're building up to, and both these guys are huge names. So I might actually go back and check this out after this is over. But we are on to the second last match of the night for the GHC Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championship title. Hold on, this is a weird question. How do you feel about a wrestling company having letters in their belt that aren't the company letters?
I mean, that would throw me off personally, especially as a fan watching. That would throw me off.
Because the GHC is the Noah titles,
Mm-hmm.
and the IWGP are
New
the New
Japan.
Japan
Yeah.
titles. So I'm going to just put my educated assumption onto this. So in IWGP in New Japan, they just treat that as a governing body that's just made up. So
Mm-hmm.
whatever they need it to be, they can just say IWGP says ... It's like remember when Ultimate Warrior won both belts and Jack Tunney came out and said, "Well, due to the legal blah blah blah."
Right.
He didn't cut a promo. He just gave a like logical, legal reason that like the NFL would give.
Right.
You know, you can't play on two teams. No.
Exactly.
So I like there's a little bit of separation. It's not the WWE title where Vince McMahon controls the title. No, it's a governing body outside of the booking team, outside of
Mm-hmm.
it's all kayfabe, but there is a part of me that's like, okay,
I'm
good with this level of kayfabe.
I like that.
But I 100% agree with you. You're like, what's GHC and how do we watch that show?
Right.
Like global heavyweight championships? Like what am I Googling here? But yeah, it's oh god, I shouldn't have brought this up because I don't know what GHC stands for. I'll put it in right here. But we get a 2-on-2 match. Out first, Katoge, pink shorts, knee pads, 40 years old,
Mm-hmm.
21 years experience. O'Hara out next, navy blue and black shorts, 41 years old, 22 years experience. What are they put in the water in Noah? Because oh my god, the average years on this is blowing my mind. Out second, okay, this sounds much better. Out second, 33 years old, Alejandro, 10 years experience. Trainer is Keiji Muto.
Mm.
You're sorry, what are these like? What's going on? I gotta get out there. I gotta get trained in Japan. Dragon Bane, he's the one. They both have lucha masks. Dragon Bane is the one with the hair. It's like a, I don't know if it counts as a weave if it's not weaved into your own hair, but it's a like ponytail sewn on the
like an
top of his
extension.
lucha mask. Yeah. I do. Sure. All my hair is coming out. Put it that way. Look, it's long, but it's falling. Okay. 26 years old. Dragon Bane is 26 years old, 13 years experience. And when I looked him up on Cage Match to just get a little fun fact, his trainer, anything like that, it just says Mexican freelancer for like 7 years. And I just went, well, I don't know. Okay. So I think he's a bit like there's a wrestler in New Japan called Doki, who was spotted, they said, wrestling on dirt floors in Mexico. So maybe it's a bit of a story like that where they were found in some very, very small independent, because this guy's got a great look to him. So yeah, maybe it's just a standout in a small town. But yeah, we get what I like to call it's like dad versus son match. It's not literally a dad versus a son, but we have 81 years age on one and 59 years on the other. So
wow.
Yeah. I like there's a part of me that wants to like call this match because it's very, very good. And I know I'm breaking a rule. It's a review show and I open the review words. It's great. But like everything in this is like it's great. It's great. Like they open with nice, clean, crisp chain wrestling. They both tag out. Both next guys come in, lots of speed, tag out. Like it's just me hitting high notes at this point, like double team moves, dives. Like a lot of this stuff is, I want to make a note on this. Okay, so I'm saying this stuff is like fast and it's a lot of speed, but Noah in general is like a slower paced show. So as much as these guys are hitting bang, 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 it's like bang,
Yeah.
bang, bang. But the crowd's eating it up in a way that it would feel like a cruiserweight or a junior heavyweight match. Well, I guess technically two of these guys are, but um, is there anything in this match that stood out to you before we get on with it?
I mean, not really. I mean, it was kind of eh, not really. Not really totally stood out.
It's one of those. It's okay. So I really enjoyed this match. I felt like tag team match
Hmm.
at the end of the card, but it's not the main event. There's a championship on the line, but it's not the one being defended. How do I phrase this? This is the junior heavyweight tag team titles. What's next is two teams fighting over the heavyweight
Hmm.
tag team titles.
Yeah.
So I felt like these guys are sort of revving up the energy for the final match. You know what I mean? Let's get
Hmm.
everybody there.
Yeah.
But this isn't like there's no AJ Styles moments. There's no who's another person, Teddy Hart moments. Like very basic work,
Hmm.
very crisp. Everyone's very good.
Yeah. It was a
Like,
good
can you point at
match.
someone in this match and say you're not good?
No, it was a really decent match. I enjoyed the match.
The only highlight I will have is something I thought was funny is so they have one guy in like an arm bar and like an arm trap, and O'Hara comes in and they like hit a move, and then he's like, he like hulks up, and
Hmm.
it's just like
Yeah.
eats a big knee, hulk up, super kick, roll up, and in 15:55, Alejandro and Dragonbane
Hmm.
hold on to their junior heavyweight tag team titles. But I thought that was like a fun little. I think if they did that in an MMA match where he's like, "I'm gonna do the fighting spirit, fight through it,"
Hmm.
but you got cocky and knocked out.
Yeah.
Like it shows you have heart, but it shows you have a little bit. I need an expression that's like, have your parents ever said to you, your eyes are bigger than your stomach?
Yeah.
You get a big plate of food, your eyes are bigger than your stomach. This was like your fighting spirit's a little bit bigger than your opponent's boots. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Right.
I do I do enjoy the passion, and it's a bit of comedy when he just takes it. 15:55. And what I like is we get a very Japanese things where the next contenders come out.
Hmm.
So it's just the next team comes out, very politely says, "We want to fight you next time," and they say, "Okay," and we move on.
I like that. I mean, it's very straightforward. Like, hey, you're next. I like. All right, cool.
And it does seem very like if you play for the NFL, NHL, and you're on a team and you say, "Okay, you just beat the Hawks tonight, and tomorrow you have the LA Kings. We have someone from the LA Kings here today."
Mm.
There's you know what I mean? Like there's things like that that happen in sports culture. So to me, it just felt like a very like, okay, we'll see you and good luck and
Yeah,
sportsmanship.
exactly.
There was no like contract signing. Was there a table in the ring for the contract signing?
Mm.
Ah,
Somebody's going through it.
this is where I love Japan. The promos, like one, I don't understand what they're saying. Two, when they get translated, it's like bullet points.
Right.
So all you hear is, "Oh, not a big fan of this guy. They want to fight coming in August. Okay, we got the belt on the line. All right, that's it."
That's all you need to know.
There's no 10-minute in-ring authority promos. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like cut, dry, get in, get out. Beautiful. Um, Up next, finally, I didn't mean to do that. The main event, the Neo Global Tag League 2026 final match. The Cage Match says Passionate Rattels, Manabu Soya, and Yuki Ino.
Hmm.
But as I'm listening to this, they were calling them something else. So I'm just gonna call them passionate for now. If that's wrong, I'm gonna put down what that they're actually called, but that's what was in cage match, so that's what we're going
They're
with.
basically the
So,
Japanese
out,
bushwhackers. You can say that.
oh my god. Out first, Soya and Yuki, and they are wearing matching singlets. I'm trying to to add to what you're saying because they're wearing matching singlets, but like the straps on the opposite side.
Yeah.
Uh, so they're like mirroring each other. They have the tassels on. They have the Hawks, each of them. And they're like this. And yeah, like
That is pro wrestling right
when
there.
we when we say bushwhackers, we don't mean this as an insult. Like I love the bushwhackers. Japanese bushwhackers. Yeah, these guys are very much in the energy and style of the bushwhackers, and that's in like a complimental
Yeah.
form. I don't know if this other team is someone we compare to the Bushwhackers, but there's some guys named the Good Brothers, Gallows and Anderson.
Good brothers.
Do you have any experience with the Good Brothers?
I've actually have a lot of experience with them. I've been to a lot of shows where they're wrestling, and of course I followed them throughout their NXT, WWE, and they even do a little bit of AEW work too. So yeah, I know I'm very familiar with the Good Brothers and
These
Impact.
guys are people don't like the word. They don't. I find that modern fans don't like when you use the word journeyman. They feel like that's a very classical term, like Terry Funk and like Abdullah the Butcher and Brody. But like these guys, I know them from New Japan,
Yeah,
and I always know them as Bullet Club, because way back then in the Bullet Club they had them as the heavyweight tag team and a different tag team for their juniors, and their other tag team had a name.
yeah.
So Gallows and Anderson were just Bullet Club. Name of the faction. It's like the name of the band, name of the album. Gallows, 42 years old, 23 years experience. You look at him, you go, yeah, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Hold on to something. Grab hold. Pretend we're in Star Trek here. Anderson, Carl Anderson, is 46 years old
Doesn't even look like
and
it.
has 24 years experience. Carl Anderson. Gallows, you look at, you go, yeah, you're a bit Kevin Nash-ish. The knees are, not the best. Big tall guy doesn't move the best. What is Carl Anderson eating, drinking? Can I have some? Is it legal? Can I get it in Canada?
He's an awesome shape.
Yeah, for his age, he's not huge. He's not Brian Cage, but he's got enough size to be believable. But he's also quick enough that you'd say, yeah, he's a threat.
Yeah.
So this match goes on for, spoilers, 25 minutes 55 seconds.
Yeah, longest match on the card, I think.
I have about a page of notes on this. I'm looking at this going, this would take us an hour to kind of go through everything, but it's like, is there anything you want to highlight right away in this match? Is there anything that could have kind of stood out to you as you were watching this?
One thing I did enjoy was just the chemistry that these two tag teams actually had, and it was fun. It was a fun match. It really was.
I think the most impressive spot, and what I mean by impressive isn't like, oh, they did something cool, like physically impressive. One of the guys, not the Good Brothers, either Soya or Yuki, they're getting like work, slow it down, brother, headlock, put the arm up, it drops, that kind of stuff. The tag partner comes in, and instead of like, oh, I'm gonna kick my opponent in the head to break up the hold, he comes in and starts doing the chant, do the chant, do the chant. I can't remember what it was off the top of my head. It was in Japanese, but the crowd get going.
Yeah.
And it's like, is this stupid? Like, is this ride the line of like cheesy, corny. Like I should be. If this was a real fight, I should help my friend,
Mhm.
but I'm not. Why? Work the crowd, brother.
It was an interesting
Like,
choice to
did you
make. I mean,
did you think it was over the top, or did you feel like it kind of worked for this?
you know what? Honestly speaking, I'm somebody who loves over the top. I love over the top. And of course it was over the top. I mean, but I think it was needed. I think over the top is necessary, especially when it comes to like, personas like this. I mean, you're like, okay, fair enough. That's gonna be over the top. I mean, you're gonna have to expect it with people. They have where they call them by hawk.
Yeah,
I mean, you have to expect
yeah,
it.
the two, yeah,
It's like
yeah.
they walk into a room, you know what their profession is. You know what I mean?
It's one of those haircuts where your ma doesn't know wrestling and she'll go, "Hey, is that a
Right.
wrestler?" And you'll go, "Probably, yeah,
Exactly.
actually," because they're two stout, thick
Mhm.
lads, and the hair and the energy they have. But going back to the Bushwhackers and this sort of like tag team cohesion that they have, their finisher, which they hit, it's kind of like the Rainmaker. They hit it a couple times, but they only hit it like the big version once. But they're okay. So you're gonna I'm gonna go down for a spear, and you're gonna be right above
Yeah.
me. And when I hit the spear on Jason, you're gonna hit him with a lariat at the exact same time. What? It reminded me of the battering ring
Yes.
because it was a similar
Yeah.
position. So yeah, as we're talking about like classic tag teams and like the a lot of the themes of road trip wrestling are like slow it down, take something simple, add a little touch to it, and now you have a fun little
Yeah.
thing where these guys, I had no idea who these guys were. Straight honesty, coming into this, I picked a show. I know the Good Brothers, sure, we'll watch this. By the end of this, these guys, Passionate, Soya, and Yuki, are like, I don't know, you might be on the top 15 lists of
You kind of
the
winning me
people I'm
over.
currently
Yeah.
interested in,
You
but
kind of winning me over here.
like old school, work the
Hmm.
crowd, like let's pump them up. By this time, this Japanese crowd is rabid. Like you could tell there's 1,000 people in this hall at this point.
Yeah.
So, do these guys get picked up in NXT at some point?
I would.
Let me double check their ages.
That'd be hilarious though.
41 and 31. And from what I can tell, the story is before we move on, I did like this. They were kind of telling the story of the Passionate, the guys fighting the Good Brothers. Soya is 41 and he's kind of aging out. Yuki is 31, so a little bit younger, but coming in. And their story is like they weren't necessarily good apart,
Hmm.
but now that they've come together, there's this like spark,
Yeah.
there's this magic. You're greater than the sum of your parts. And I know that's a very sports story. Like there's always been basketball teams where you look at the roster and you go, no way they should be good. And then you look at how they're doing and you're like, sorry, who's on the roster? What's going on? Like
Yeah.
you can have lower ranking people, but they just get along better and they have those cohesion. But yeah, that's a story I can get along with. So
Yeah.
any thoughts on that match before we move on?
No, like I said, man, I thought it was a really fun match. Uh, I'm always going to be a fan of the Good Brothers, man. Those are some two of my favorite people in the wrestling business. But yeah, man, it was a good match. The whole show overall, I've had fun with because I'm like I said, I'm new to Nova or new Nova. I'm new to
All right.
Noah,
Well,
but yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed it, and the match, like it was what like probably the longest match on the card, one of the longest matches on the card.
it was.
Yeah,
I will tell you just in a second. It was 25-55.
yeah, it was enjoyable, you know.
It wasn't a slog. It was well paced. Like they had a couple ups and downs, but hey, wrestling matches got to have that like baby faces fire,
Mhm.
slow it down, the heat gets the boost. So yeah, I think with that out of the way, we're gonna kind of head out to the car and just talk about the end of the show. Now that we're out in the parking lot and we can chill and have a smoke, talk about the show. Um, I guess we start with the big topic. What were your sort of thoughts and impressions with Noah as a company vibe coming out of this event, like
I think
presentation wise?
watching it, it gave me kind of like the vibe that ECW had back in the day, where it wasn't as well known as a lot of other companies, but it does have its niche, it does have its popularity, and I'm just now getting into a lot of pro wrestling, Noah, and like I said, it's like it reminds me a lot of the early ECW and how that fanfare was, and how kind of how it was word of mouth mostly, because a lot of American fans, it's mostly word of mouth. And like a lot of us, we look it up on YouTube or wherever we find it online,
Hmm?
and it's kind of like a different version of tape trading of sorts, for
Yeah,
us
there
for
it
us old heads.
it seems weird that in a digital age when everything is at everyone's fingertips, there's still a bit of like obscurity when it comes to some like Noah is not the biggest company. It's not the size of New Japan. New Japan's not the size of AEW, and
Hmm.
working up the ranks. But all these guys, from what I know, are on contracts. They have a dojo that they've had open for 26 years now. So this is a fairly steady company that's been around enough to put butts in seats. But it seems weird that it's like, yeah, the American fans, I don't know if it's a TV thing, because I feel like a lot of times when you say to someone that's an American wrestling fan, "Hey, I watch this company," they say, "Well, how do I watch that? What channel is it on?"
Hmm.
They view it like WCW, AEW,
Yeah.
WWE, where it's a weekly show. But when I go, no, man, it's on like Tuesdays at 4 a.m., but you can watch it whenever, they're like, huh? I don't get
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, for a lot of
But to
Americans, you gotta be straightforward. Give them a time, let them know exactly
so
when they can catch it.
to be straightforward on this topic, how to watch pro wrestling Noise. I said it at the top of the show. I'll say it again just to be double clear to make sure everybody's on board. You can go to wrestle-universe.com. If you just go into Google and put Wrestle Universe, it should pop up. There's a bunch of other companies under there, so just kind of make sure you look around. But it's not going to make you like pay to sign up before you kind of poke around.
Hmm.
When you go to watch a show, that's when it'll say, hey, you got to
I think
pay
it
the
usually gives you
money.
like a week free to try
Yeah,
it.
so like it's um it's different watching from like an American perspective and getting more events, because this was the end of a round robin tag league tournament.
Yeah,
Um do you watch round robin tournaments in wrestling?
I have before. I have watched that
Well, you've seen the
before.
C2. I said that sort of sarcastically, but I know you've seen
Yeah.
the C2 a couple times because they've done it for a few years now. But
Hmm.
yeah, you don't see a lot of round robins in American wrestling.
I think it's
And
because it's so long, and Americans don't have that kind of patience. Most of them don't.
I totally get that. And the other side of the coin, like we're talking about dialects, right? So
Hmm.
like tournaments, certain tournaments we get King of the Ring, we get over here, but a round robin tournament they treat as like a tour. So the
Yeah.
G1's going to be July and August, and they have all the events, and you can go all through. So it's structured. So this whole month's 2 months, and then whoever wins, like it all kind of builds into the next thing. So as much as it's sort of like odd, you kind of go, oh, so it's sort of like footy, like soccer, because I think in the UK they have different leagues, Premier League, this
Yeah.
league, that league. So it's sort of like that. If your team's in this league and your team's not in that league, well, I'm just gonna not that like it comes off a bit like that. So when we were talking earlier about sports feel and this feeling like a legitimate sports event, but just one of those more calmer ones like tennis or cricket.
Yeah.
Like this adds to that because now I go, okay, well, if this was your tag tournament, what's next? They said
Right.
earlier it's the end one, so it's going to be their heavyweight singles round robin tournament. But
Mhm.
you know that kind of stuff gets me interested in sports stories. So
I like
um,
that. It's different, you know.
and it's not. I don't like, especially in American uh, television stuff, where it's the like. Okay, remember like Lita and Edge and Matt Hardy?
Yeah.
I hate that stuff.
Yeah,
I
like it's
hate that
very soap
like
opera-ish and
yeah, like Kane and Lita. Like no, no, no,
yeah.
no, no, no. I enjoyed a match recently, and what was on the line is the G1's coming up, and whoever wins this match goes into the G1.
That's all
Good
you
enough for me.
need. That's all
A
you need, really.
chance at a chance to win the title. I'm in. Done.
That's the story right
So
there.
and it's I feel like it's universal, those kind of stories. Like this
Yeah.
might be me sounding like a little over the top, but are those kind of stories a little universal like math and music?
Oh
Where
yeah, I
you
think
just
so. I mean,
like
they're like stories as old as time, you know.
everybody just gets it. You look at it, you go, oh, play though, it's like 3 games before the playoffs.
Mhm.
Raptors, Knicks. If the Raptors win, they go to the playoffs. If they do,
Right.
if they okay, here we go. So it's one of the, like
As long
I
as there's a high
enjoy.
stake there, there's always going to be interest.
We understand what's on the line. We totally get it. There's no
Yeah.
like Al Snow was fed his own dog.
Yeah.
How he won that feud was by climbing out of a cage and running away.
Yeah, that's how that feud
Huh?
actually ended.
So when we talk about professional wrestling versus sports entertainment, this is professional wrestling.
Right.
These guys are working towards a goal, and they are in the way of each other's goals, and they have to fight to continue to where their goal is.
Right.
Well, sign me up, dude. I'm in this.
It's that simple, but yet that's all you really need to have a compelling story. Right there, it's there.
That's it. I don't need to know your backstories. I don't need to know where you were born. I don't need to know who your coaches were. All I need to know is it's just like a movie. My
Yeah.
goal and your goals are getting in the way, and I wonder what the outcome is going to be and where this goes. And uh, I've said this, I think, most episodes of Road Trip Wrestling, but I think I'm going to be back to Pro Wrestling Noah because this is not only a fun
It is
work
fun.
rate, but it's like a fun presentation that's a little bit
Yeah.
different. So I think with that out of the way, is there any closing words that you have for us Road Trip Wrestling or for Noah?
Well, thank you for having me on again and guide me through the world of pro wrestling. Noah. That was
Guiding you through the
fun,
blind.
man. It was absolutely a fun show, and I definitely want to watch more of Noah. I definitely do. So, but yeah, anytime you're watching more, I'm down to watch more with you.
Well, we have been sort of tinkering in the garage here. This car is an old beat up car that we've been driving down the road, but we got another DeLorean in the back here that we've been trying to get working. So maybe, just maybe, the next time we get you on Road Trip Wrestling, we can go back back in time and get
Nice.
on one of the classic pro wrestling shows. I don't know what it could be. It could be 80s, 70s, 90s. I don't know. Maybe even I'll let you pick. But
I'm always
I
down
think
for
that
some
could be
80s action.
well, let's see where that goes. But yeah, that sounds like a fun little trip we can do next. But for me, I'm just gonna say thank you, Mr. Jacobs, for joining me on this trip. It was fun having a different point of view. It's always fun getting a different co-host, and you definitely have a good honest, passionate point of view for pro wrestling. So I'm definitely enjoying it, and we'll get you on another time. And for everybody watching, thank you. It has been a hot one, so we are both going to go stand in front of an air conditioner for about
Yeah.
an hour and fall asleep. And I hope all you fans feel something that glorious. And again, thank you for watching. Have a good night, evening, day, wherever you are. Have a good one.
Peace.